While 2025 keeps on creeping closer and closer, we still got 3 months left, and plenty of games yet to come. From new IPs, console ports, big expansions, remastered classics, and even bringing back older amazing series. There's definitely something for every gamer out there before this year comes to a close. And these are just some of the highlights. I got 15 games to talk about on this list, so let's jump to it. Going in order of release date, starting us off, we have Silent Hill 2 coming out October 8th for PC and PS5. This is a complete remake of the highly acclaimed Silent 2 game from 2001. Staying true to the original beloved story, but with obvious massive graphic and sound overhaul and improvements. And based on some of the gameplay, this is definitely going to hit that horror fix if anyone's been itching for a good horror game. Next up, we have an expansion, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, coming out October 8th for PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. This one will run you $40, and if you don't have the base game already, they bundled the two for a total of $70. They're introducing additional story campaign content, as well as an entire new zone, the addition of mercenaries to aid you in battle, new endgame content, and of course a new class, the Spiritborn, which actually looks pretty dope. A very hybrid-y class that reminds me a bit of the monk from Diablo 3, with a double-sided spear and fast combat, but the addition of spirit spells that look pretty sick. Next up we have Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, coming out October 11th for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S.
Another Dragon Ball Z game?
Yeah, okay, but have you ever played the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games? That was peak Dragon Ball Z gaming back in the day, and Sparking Zero is essentially bringing that back to life, but on a whole other level.
What's wrong? Too old?
So for me, this is super exciting, because I spent a lot of time back in the day playing the old Budokai games with the buds. And beyond insanely improved combat, it looks like there are going to be about 164 playable characters, and new features like episode battles which allow you to reenact famous Dragon Ball Z episodes, and custom battles to put your skills to the test, or even create your own stories with custom cutscenes. Pretty cool, man. Next up we have New World Aeternum, releasing October 15th. Now this one's a strange one, because it's almost like a rebrand. If you didn't know, New World is an MMORPG that was originally released on PC 3 years ago. Now they're bringing it over to console and bringing some goodies with it, with the reworked intros and campaigns since its initial launch, plus all the expansions, DLCs, and additional updates they've been making throughout the past 3 years. I played the beta on PS5 and it was pretty solid. I also put in more hours than I care to share when it first came out on PC. Definitely a fun MMORPG. Next up is Unknown 9 Awakening, coming out October 17th on PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. We're gonna need to talk about this one in the comments. I'm getting flashbacks to Forspoken, and that's a bit unsettling, but it is a new IP with some interesting features that may give it a shot at success. But right off the bat, I'm not particularly impressed by some of the animations and graphics. Regardless, the basis is cool, and one of its combat mechanics really does stand out. You play as Haruna, who has abilities and connections to the spirit realm called the Fold that allows her to do some pretty impressive moves, one being able to take control of her enemies and set them up strategically for some pretty creative takedowns. I would definitely be curious to test out that system to see how it plays out, because it does look pretty cool. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this one. Next up we have No More Room in Hell 2, coming out in early access on Steam on October 22nd. Now I've never played the first one, but it is free on Steam, so I may give it a shot. But the second one looks pretty sweet. No More Room in Hell is a first-person action survival zombie game where you and 7 other people do whatever you can to survive and fulfill your mission, boasting endless replayability with large maps and ever-changing events, plus no respawns, so things can get pretty tense. Next up we have Call of Duty Black Ops 6, coming out October 26th on PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Not much to say here, you either like Call of Duty, or you don't. I don't actively play it, so I couldn't tell you all the best stuff to look forward to, other than that new omnidirectional movement. Next up we have Dragon Age Veilguard, coming out October 31st for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. It's the 4th installment to the Dragon Age series, which has been around for quite some time now. I'm definitely going to be playing this one. I've loved the 3 previous ones, so why not jump into this? Dragon Age in itself is a really unique game, offering a ton of depth from the story and making your own choices that could change the outcome of the game, to the combat which is surprisingly very strategic, consisting of your main custom character as well as a few companions and the ability to slow time to make strategic moves and assess your enemy's weaknesses. A fun tactical style combat that allows for a ton of customizable play and intense ARPG action as well. Next up we have Path of Exile 2, coming out in early access to Steam November 15th, eventually to launch on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. 11 years later, and the long-awaited second installment to a very successful isometric ARPG game that stands very tall next to the Diablo series. With 12 characters and redefined combat, the series is known for some very detailed customization of skills to really get creative with your builds. This should be fun for anyone looking for a new fast-paced, intense ARPG. Next up we have Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, coming out November 20th on PC, Xbox Series X and S. It still says 2024 on Xbox, but it comes with the day one Game Pass, so I'm not sure why it wouldn't release on the 20th alongside PC. We have another second installment. And another old one too, going back to 2009 for the first one. Stalker 2 is a first-person shooter horror survival game. Caught in the radiation-filled area, you make your way around in an attempt to just stay alive. But you're not the only thing around the corner. Other people and creatures lurk in the darkness, and you'll be the judge on how things are handled. Up next, we have Marvel Rivals, coming out December 6th for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. What is known as a hero team-based PvP shooter, you can lump this into the same category as Overwatch, and with the same basic principles. Lots of variety for characters to play and master. Plus, this will be free to play, and will be releasing with 26 iconic Marvel characters to do battle with against each other. I never got crazy into Overwatch, but I've definitely put in some hours on it, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go, especially since it's going to be free to play. Next up, we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, coming out December 9th for PC and Xbox Series X and S, and will be a day one Game Pass game. Now, I do play PC, but my go-to is typically PS5, so I'm a bit bummed we're not getting it for PlayStation. Or are we? That Bethesda deal is definitely working out right now, for the time being, however. It is listed on PSN Store as announced. It looks like my fellow PlayStation people will just have to do a bit of waiting. But this game does look badass, man. I'm getting some serious storytelling vibes here. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm in the need of a stellar adventure story. So my expectations are high. But definitely my most anticipated game to come out the rest of the year. Next up on the list, we have a remaster of a classic, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered. Coming out December 10th for PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. They left this gem exactly how it is, but just optimized it for a smoother and more crisp look. A great game if you've been looking for a little blast from the past or some nostalgia. And these last two, bit of a reach, but you never know. The first is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, fingers crossed for 2024. On their official X account, it still says release date 2024, so I have high hopes. This game looks sick, man. And with Saber Interactive and Focus Entertainment on this one, you know it's going to be a blast, especially after experiencing their most recent title, Space Marine 2. Take on wild hordes of zombie horrors in this first-person co-op chaos, coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. And finally, not as hopeful for this one, but you never know. We have Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. They had a few hints at 2024 release dates, but still no new updates. But a man can dream. Another full remake of a classic back from 2004, held by many as the best Metal Gear Solid game yet. I guess that makes sense why they're doing a remake. It is one of the best survival games around. This is coming at a great time because I feel like we haven't had anything that's a true full-blown stealth tactic game in a while. And if we have, please correct me, but nothing comes to mind. Well, that about wraps this up, my dudes. Let me know what games you guys have on your list for the rest of the year. And if it wasn't on this list, make sure to drop it in the comments. I want to know what games you guys are most excited for to finish out the year. As always, happy gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one.